And we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Wisco Fanatics. Tyler is busy tonight. Him and the wife have an anniversary, so happy anniversary to Tyler and Courtney. Bryant had some family, I'll say, things going on. I don't want to give too much away, but Bryant is not with us, so it's just myself and Simon, me and Alaska over there. We're going to be previewing the Packers and Broncos game happening on CBS at 3:25. So we're going to get right into it. This episode is probably just going to be pretty cutthroat, to be completely honest with you. Yep. We don't have Bryant to get us off topic or talk about Nissans or Anders.
Dude, that video that Tyler posted was funny. It was
Dude,
so funny.
That was hilarious. I loved every second of it. But yeah, we're gonna get right into the offense. So, what are you looking for from the Packers?
You missed that part.
What did I miss?
I don't know. Usually we ask each other how we're doing.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me go back. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, dude.
Good.
Week's been great, dude. It is 25 degrees out right now.
So
it's nice and chilly.
Since you brought that up, I'm actually going to back up real quick, and I want to give I'm actually going to be serious when I say this, but I want to give a shout out to my baseball guy. I've talked about him all Brewers season. His name is Keith. He was my work best friend. He got some terrible news this week that he has kidney cancer. So
tough, dude.
I just want to give a shout out to Keith. Hope you're doing good at home, buddy. I know we talked the other day, but you got to stay strong. You got 2 young boys at home, so I know you said you're gonna check this out when you get time. So well, you know, I'm thinking about you, man. So yeah, that was how my week went. It started on Monday. I heard the news about my buddy Keith, and I was like, oh, man, like that was my guy that I talk to every day, man. I don't even like getting most of these morons I work with, so I just go there because they pay me pretty good money, and you know I paint fire trucks, man. And then Keith was the thing that made it okay to be there for 50 hours a week. So
is that what you do? You paint fire trucks?
Yep, I work at a place called Pierce, and I paint fire trucks.
Oh,
yeah, so they're the number one. Actually, they're under a branch called Oshkosh.
Yeah, and I know what Oshkosh is.
Yeah, they make like defense.
Yeah, Oshkosh makes a lot of the military vehicles.
Yeah, so I actually work for Oshkosh technically.
Oh, no kidding.
But I work in the Pierce umbrella where I paint the fire trucks.
Huh.
Yeah, small world, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Oshkosh it's actually a really, really good company. Got great benefits, so can't complain there. But other than that sad, somber news of me hating my life and now my work best friend is very sick, we're going to talk about the Packers and Broncos. So you ready for that, buddy?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
All right, so what are you looking for from the Packers offense versus the Broncos defense?
If there's ever a team for them to get right, this offense to get right again, is the Broncos. Yep. They are. I was looking through like the PFF grades, which I mean you take them for what they are, but they're rated the bottom, their bottom team in coverage, the bottom team in running defense, or I'm sorry, 30th in running defense, and the worst tackling team in the league. They're just bottom tier in pretty much everything defensively. And then they got rid of Randy Gregory and help me out here. What's the dude's name? The other pass rusher.
Yeah, I can't remember.
His name escapes my mind. I should have written it down, but I mean, the only guy they got is what was his name, Batonio or whatever.
Yeah,
I think he has like he has only like 18 pressures on the year, and he's like their leading guy. He had. Yeah, go ahead.
He had 2.5 of his 5.5 sacks against the Bears. So I mean, it's the Bears. Did you see the video going around about the Bears blocking each other?
Oh yeah, that shit.
Oh,
that was funny, dude.
Yeah, you want to talk about the Bears.
It wasn't even like an accident either. He like looked back and forth like he was crossing a road, and he still like had his hands on him.
I was like, my girlfriend actually sent that to me on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, that's a no. That definitely should not happen. So
it's embarrassing. But also, I mean, they still have Pat Surtain. He's a pretty damn good player. Other than that, it feels like, like I said, this is a week for them to get their stuff together, and I've been saying it since the start of the season. Like, we haven't had a game where we've had a fast start, where we moved the ball down the field and it felt like we scored on the first drive and kept it going. And last week was a testament to that. Like, there was nothing going on for us in offense the first half of that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I saw something the other day, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure we lead the league in second half points.
Yep.
Like that, it just it shows, and maybe it's due to some defense playing a little more off coverage due to them having a lead or whatever have you. But I mean, at least it shows that our offense has the potential to score and the potential to move balls. But there needs to be a better upfront game plan rather than making adjustments in the second half.
Yeah, so I know. I mean, I brought up the second half scoring a couple weeks ago. I know Bryant has brought this point up a lot. We have to do a different first 15 plays or 30 plays or whatever that are scripted to start the game. And, actually, I'm just going to go to one of the questions that I was going to ask you and Bryant originally, but I'm just going to propose it to you. The question is point blank: does Matt LaFleur need to trust Jordan Love more?
I mean, it seems like it. No, I don't know. I felt like outside, and we can talk about Jordan Love's deep ball accuracy issues all day. And there's a cat.
I have 3 of them, so.
But that's the first time I think I've seen your cat come in your picture.
This one sucks. So.
Okay. But that middle, the short and intermediate accuracy and plays seem like they're there pretty often during the season. I'm not saying he's the best at it, but the quick passing, dump off screen game seemed to not really work that well against, and maybe it's just the Raiders game plan and Max Crosby's a beast, but it seemed to not work there. I wish he would let him rip it a little more to those short and intermediate, slant over routes, or he had a really good, I can't remember who it was against, but there was like 3 passes in a row to Jaden Reed on out routes that seemed to work perfect for 7 to 11 yards. Yep. And it just seemed like that wasn't necessarily there versus the Raiders.
I will agree that I think Jordan Love's been really, really good outside the numbers, to your point about the out routes. And, that was against the Falcons, actually. And actually, one of those out routes was, oh my God, this play design was amazing. So it was a fake handoff to the right, and Jaden Reed went in motion and acted like he was blocking, and he was basically like a tight end on the play, and he just released, and he ended up wide open. That was actually the touchdown that he scored. So I think a lot of that stuff could be had, right? And that was my vision when I was, we were doing our stat projections, and I was talking about Luke Musgrave. I was like, Musgrave is going to kill. He's going to be the dump-off guy. They're not going to want to kill Aaron Jones all the time because I was afraid of him being hurt. And obviously, he's hurt now. Been banged up for a couple weeks now. But that was my vision, and that's why I thought that he was going to get a ton of targets, because I was like, dude, they're going to keep him within 5 yards. Every once in a while, they'll let him stretch the field. But in my opinion, the reason that I asked this question is because I think that he absolutely does. And I agree with one thing that you said, that he has to just let him rip it. Like the Bucs. So here's the correlation that I'm going to make. The Bucs started getting good when Giannis got good, obviously, right? But then we started bringing in more guys, and they came up with this mantra called "Let It Fly," and that was when the Bucs went from like, okay, this team is pretty good, to like, oh shit, this is like one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
So for me, the rest of the season, and I sincerely mean this with everything about me, let it fly, Jordan. That's all I want to see. If there's one thing that we're going to take away from this season, because, we've said it a million times, we're not making the Super Bowl. I would love if we made the playoffs somehow, but the one thing that we need to make sure that we have is a quarterback. That's the one thing that we've had for 31 straight years, and we cannot find that out if he's under pressure constantly, if you're holding back on play calls constantly, if you're not just letting him play. Just let the man play. You got to find out if he can handle all this stuff anyways, right? So for me, I would absolutely say yes, let it rip, let him do his thing. So I'm just going to read off what Tyler wanted to write about the offense. I'll give my little quick thoughts on it. Most of my stuff kind of goes in my matchup and my X factor, but for Tyler, he actually talked about Matt LaFleur talked to Musgrave about reading. Sorry. needing to understand, this is like really hard to read, needing to understand the mental part of the game, which I understand too.
Yep.
When to throttle down and use his speed so he can find the holes in the defense instead of just taking what the defense is giving him. Also brought up making sure he's running the right routes. So that's been an issue, and obviously we knew that was going to happen. There is going to be a lot of miss routes runs, with these young wide receivers. So my thoughts on this, and I'm kind of piggybacking off of you, is there's games in leagues, baseball, basketball, football. They're called get right games. This is 100% a get right game. So for me, I would just whatever your game plan is, I would go with it and let it fly. Now, I'm gonna. Yeah. So 1 sec here. We're gonna switch to defense. So Simon, why don't you tell me what you're expecting from the Broncos offense versus the Packers defense?
I mean, it's not for as bad as their defense is. I mean, their offense isn't really that much better. And you've seen all of the articles and stuff talking about how Russ might not be there next year, even though his contract's disgusting. Like, I don't know how they're gonna dump that contract and still be okay. I still think he's there for another year. But beside the point, Russ isn't. He's not blowing anyone away this year. It seems like a lot of his scoring has come from, second half as well. Like, their first half offense isn't great either. The running backs, Javonte Williams hasn't been great this year. What's his name? Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been a solid backup guy, getting a little here and there. You think their wide receivers would be putting up better numbers with than they have been, but Jerry Jeudy's been a disappointment. Cortland Sutton hasn't been the same since he got hurt. Tim Patrick's injured again.
Always.
For as many things I can't say about their defense, I also cannot say about their offense either. It's just a lack of, I don't even want to say weapons. It just seems like things aren't clicking for them either. Their offensive line has been, I would say, pretty good. Not the best, not the worst. They've been, I think, middle of the pack. But same, like their offense isn't scoring when it needs to keep up with other teams. They got absolutely blown out by the Dolphins, and I mean they had a decent game against the Chiefs, but even then, I don't think the Chiefs have an amazing defense either. But I think this is a game where I think our secondary is going to be good. I don't. None of their players scare me enough from our secondary. Rasul Douglas is having an amazing year. I don't know if I feel like he's like our first quarter underrated player. If I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah, he's been monster, and he's displaying a lot of really good leadership qualities. I'll say that about him too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had, and not to get too far off topic, I feel like Bryant here, but his comments about the offense growing up faster than they're not young. They've had 6 games. Get your shit together, sort of. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Like, I don't have a problem with that.
No,
this is the NFL. Like, we as fans can say, like, we can sit here and say we have a young offense and there's time to chemistry and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, like, you're getting paid a ton of money to play a position that you want to stay in forever. You better fix your shit. I have no problem with that. What he's saying.
I 100% agree with you. Got to think about it, man. Like, I just coached a bunch of kids that are 10 years old. A lot of these guys are now, 25, 26, 27, maybe, even if they're 22. That means they've been playing this same game for 12 years.
Yep.
They've been doing this for 12 years, learning the ins and outs, watching games, playing in the backyard, doing it all, right? So I 100% agree with Rasul Douglas, and sometimes a little tough love is what you need.
That's what I was going to say. It sounded more like a challenge from him, like him challenging our offensive players to, fix their shit. And, practice harder, or hit the playbook again, and see what you're doing wrong, and the little nuances to the game, like you said about Musgrave not going full throttle every play, and settle down in the zone once in a while. That's just the mental aspect of the game that some of these guys need to catch up on.
Yep,
I feel like I went off on a really good tangent.
No, that was terrific, and that's the thing about the draft. Like when we're doing our draft prep, and we love the draft prep, and we're not thinking about the draft right now, but the draft is like super fun, and you look at all these 40-yard dashes and how much this guy benches. But the thing that really goes into the rankings, for me personally, for you, for Tyler, I know it does for everybody, is the mental aspect of things, right? And there may be a guy that's ranked 6th as a wide receiver, and this guy looks like an absolute freak. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, all that. But he just doesn't have the mental part of it. And that's why I think a guy, again, not to, like you said, not to go off too much, but like that's why a guy like maybe like DK Metcalf maybe slid down in the draft a little bit, is people maybe thought that he didn't have the mental part of the game, even though he was big and fast and strong. And obviously he turned out to be a stud. So a lot of people were wrong on that situation. But, the Raiders, they've had their hand caught in the cookie jar a few too many times, just drafting the fastest guy in the draft. That doesn't always work. So there is something to be said about the mental part. I mean, Jordan Love can have this rocket arm and be super athletic, but if he doesn't get it up here, he's never going to get it, right?
Yep. And that goes for the same, like when you're thinking about like GM and choosing players in the draft, that's something that you're not necessarily going to think about or see that aspect of what. That's why it's impossible to draft, predict the draft and who's going where, because you don't see all that side stuff that GMs have to think about in the conversations they have it behind closed doors with players and stuff, right. And what makes them move or slide players up and down the draft for them.
Right, like look at the Lions draft board, man. Yeah, everybody was freaking out, but man, what a draft! And full disclosure, I loved Jahmyr Gibbs
going. Yeah, I did too. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. And you can knock where they took him at however you want or whatever. But I said this since they drafted him. If that's their guy and they loved him, it doesn't matter where you fucking pick a person. Yep. I mean, if he works out for you, he fucking works out for you. And they thought he would do good enough to pick him, 12 overall or 18?
Yeah,
I forget.
Like
sorry. I'd have to look back, but either way, like that was enough. He showed them enough to put a first round investment in him. And I mean, we'll see if it works out, but I mean, that's what GMs think.
He has all the tools, man. And I think that he does have it up here. So to get back on topic here, what I'm looking for from the Packers defense is, I'm actually going to repeat something that Tyler wrote down as well, but I agree with it, is don't beat yourselves. So the Packers, God, they play so good on defense at times. I feel like our defense is in that area where like sometimes it's overrated and sometimes it's underrated. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, we just are especially when you look at our rankings, for yardage and all that stuff, right? So the Packers just need to stay sound. Do your job. I'm going to steal a mantra from Bill Belichick. Just do your job. If you need to set the edge on that play, you set the damn edge. If your job is to hit the damn B gap, hit the damn B gap, okay? I'm sick and tired of this. Everybody trying to play hero ball stuff. We have too much talent on this defense for them to just be getting ran all over. We've given up 2 games already this year. We gave up 200 rushing yards. That is uncalled for. So for me, just don't beat yourselves. Stay under control. And offense, for the love of God, take some pressure off these people.
One last thing, I hit on it when we did our review of the Raiders game, but that was the first game Gary played over 30 snaps, and coming off a bye week, do you think they full unleash him? I kind of mentioned it too. Is like this could be a week where we're seeing like 40 or 50 snaps from Gary if they feel good about it.
I feel like if you're gonna do it, the time is now.
Yeah,
like you have to. Like you had that 10 days off going into the Raiders game. Horrible, terrible loss to the Raiders. Never should have lost that game. Rashawn Gary, the competitor, has a week off to sit with that loss. You know that he wants to play. I think that you have to.
Yeah. I'm your hands forward. And we're getting closer to like the year mark. And I think, I mean, if they feel really good, and Gary, it seems like he's killing it out there.
Mhm.
I can't remember. I pulled the stat from PFF the other day. It was like with people, the minimum amount of pass rush snaps being, I think I put it as 60 or something.
Mhm.
He has the second best pass rush win rate right now in the league, behind Myles
Yeah.
Garrett.
And when you talk about Myles Garrett, I mean, you talk about a guy that may be the best player in the NFL, right? In
Yeah, he's
my
been
opinion,
extremely good, dude.
I think that he's better than AD now because AD is getting a little older.
He's getting a little long in the tooth. I mean, he's still a monster. I
Yeah,
like
he's
AD,
still a beast. Don't get me wrong.
but
I mean, I watch every single Rams game just like I watch every single Packers game because my father-in-law lives with us and he's a big Rams fan. So if they're on different times, I sit and I watch the entire Rams game. So I know a lot about the Rams too, man. Well, I watched Puka Nacua catch all those damn passes.
yeah, where the hell did he come from, right?
Oh my god! Well, apparently Washington.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, I'm over in Wisconsin. He's playing at freaking 11 o'clock at night. No wonder I never heard of this guy.
Love the time
So
changes.
now we're gonna go to matchups. So, what is a matchup that you are looking for?
I want our wide receivers to feast out there this week.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of opportunities for them to get open versus a very weak secondary. So I'm looking, and I mean, Love just literally has to hit them, hit the wide receivers. So that's what I'm watching.
Okay, so I'm gonna say mine, and then I'm gonna go over Tyler's, and then I will get Brian's as well. So my matchup I'm watching is Aaron Jones versus the Broncos rush defense. I mean, it has to be, right? The engine of the offense. The offense hasn't looked the same since week one, really. He's the guy. Denver is giving up 5.6 yards per rush, which ranks 32nd in the NFL. They are also giving up 172.3 yards per game on the ground, which is also 32nd in the NFL. By the way, 32nd means last. They're also 32nd in the NFL in points per game given up at 33.3, and 32nd in the NFL yards given up at 440.3. So the Broncos defense is bad. Now, yes, some of these stats are skewed because of that 70-point game in Miami, and Miami's doing that to basically everybody except Buffalo that 1 week. But
I mean, even then they scored 30 against Buffalo. Buffalo
just
killed them.
You can't be giving up this many yards consistently. I mean, people want to talk about how they look good against the Chiefs. The Chiefs look kind of discombobulated at times, to be completely honest with you.
They definitely don't look as dominant this year.
Yeah, they miss Eric Bieniemy more than Eric Bieniemy misses the Chiefs. I'll say that right now, because he actually has Washington looking kind of competitive. Yeah. And that same
Sam Howell is playing decent ball too.
Went into Denver and put up a lot of points and a lot of yards. So if you want to talk about just the Dolphins putting up yards and points on the Broncos, that's not true. Everybody is. So it's definitely Aaron Jones versus the Broncos defense.
So one last thing I want to say about Denver's defense too, that's kind of gross. I kind of mentioned it earlier. They're last in PFF grade for tackling. They've missed 80 tackles this year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Want to know how many of the Packers missed?
How many?
39.
Wow, we complain about their tackling.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like I heard Tyler say it like we've missed a lot of tackles this year. I think when I charted it out last week, I either forgot to say it or whatever happened. I think we're 7th in missed tackles in the league, like 7th least.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, yeah, I don't really.
That was after.
The thing about the missed tackles is they come at crucial times. That's
sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not every missed tackle is the same, and
right.
Every missed tackle, there could be a guy right behind him ready to make the tackle. I mean, yeah, it's not all the same, but 80 is still disgusting.
Yeah, you're just missing all the tackles at that point. You're not just missing them at crucial times. You're just missing all of them.
All of them.
So, Tyler wrote Matt LaFleur versus Aaron Jones versus fans. And the reason that he wrote down is something that actually him and I actually talked about is I saw somebody during the Vegas game. I was arguing with him, and he was arguing about how the game plan was horrible and the running game was horrible. I was like, dude, He literally had 24 hours to make a new game plan. The whole game plan was for 33. He's like, that's not how it works. You don't put your offense around one guy. I'm like, dumbass. Yeah, that's how it works. Like, when you have a really good player, you just give them the ball, like, a lot. So the week before, people complained against Detroit when Matt LaFleur didn't give Aaron Jones the ball. And then Aaron Jones got late scratch for the Monday night game.
Yep.
People bitched about the offense then. So it's like there's no perfect world for these people, but you got to understand that the audience that you're talking to when you get those people that are complaining about everything, right? And I joke about this all the time, but it's still the most hilarious thing of all time is the old people complaining that college football is going on Peacock, dude. That is bar none the funniest shit I see on the internet right now.
Hell yeah.
I laugh react at every single old person. I go on their profiles. I'm like, you are definitely a complainer. You are definitely a complainer. And it's always, I'm sorry, I got to say it. It's always old white ladies with their little tiny dogs, dude, in their profile pictures. Sorry, that's who it is. That's the people that are bitching.
I love that.
Or it's like the 65-year-old guys that have the profile picture where they're looking down at their phone like this.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know you know.
It's those two people that are complaining the most. Yeah. So they're also the ones that complain about the coaches the most, right? And when you hit them with the same energy that they're complaining with, they have nothing to say. So I actually 100% agree with Tyler's point of, LaFleur versus Jones versus the fans. And I'm going to go back to what I said about Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love. Dude, if your horses are ready, dude, just give them the ball. Like, I don't care the situation. I don't care if it's freaking 2nd and 10 and you're up by fucking 30, dude. Give Aaron Jones the goddamn ball. I want him to have 25 touches minimum every game.
Okay, that's disgusting. I think that's a little much. Jones' sweet spot for touches has always been 15 to 20.
But here's the thing. How many years did we complain about McCarthy not using Jones correctly, right?
What was the stupid stat I saw yesterday? The Packers are like 35-2 or some shit when they
get the ball 20 times.
20 times.
Yeah.
25 is, you're getting to the point where you're overusing, especially because he's already in his hamstring's probably going to trouble him a little bit all season, which was unfortunate that he ended up getting a touchdown on the play he hurt it on. But yeah, I think that's a little much for me. Was it 20?
I think it was 20. All right, so I'll simmer it down. I'll say 20. He needs to touch the ball 20 times.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think anyone would complain about that.
20 touches for Aaron Jones should be bare minimum.
Yeah, the two losses were like San Francisco in the playoffs, and I forget the other. I think it was another playoff game.
Probably San Francisco again, to be honest with you.
I forget. I don't think it was that.
Maybe the Buccaneers. Did he touch the ball?
No, because he got hurt in the second half of that game.
Yeah, you're right, because he fumbled after he got hit.
Yeah, he got smacked and he got hurt. Anyways, I do. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Aaron Jones' workload this week. I'm hoping after a bye and him kind of teetering towards playing in that game. Well, I guess what do you call it? He kind of messed it up in pre-games or something where he outstretched for a pass or something. He nicked it, and they just decided that it wasn't worth playing him before the bye. Which sucks. Like, we should have won that game. Man.
Yeah, we really should have. You think about the Falcons game, and you think about that Raiders game, and you're like, man, those are two games that
they're winnable.
I'm glad that we got those reps because that's a good thing. But at the same time, man, those losses fucking sting, dude.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe we've said this kind of in the offseason. We're gonna have games where we just lose to guys or teams that we shouldn't. We shouldn't have lost to the Falcons or the Raiders. Both of those were easily winnable games. Detroit just whooped up on us, and they just have a really, really solid team overall.
Yeah.
But we could be 4-1 right now, and these were expected to happen this season in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
It's just I'm expecting Anders Carlson, excuse me, I keep doing that. Anders Carlson field goal missed for the loss at some point this season.
Yeah, and then all the people that seen him make all his kicks and be kicking the ball out of the end zone, and they're like, "Oh, I like this guy. We finally got a kicker." All those people,
they're gonna shit on him.
Complain about Peacock people. They're going to complain. I am going to stick on this. I am going to be a thorn in their side so bad. Like, so many people have blocked me now on Facebook because they hate me now because of this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. So. Yeah, so Aaron Jones, he's just got to touch the ball. So now we're going to switch gears, and we are going to go to X factors. So what is the X factor for you for this Packers-Broncos game?
Ooh. I didn't write one down, but God, how is it not Aaron Jones? It seems like, I mean, week 1 he had 100 and some yards and 2 touchdowns or something. Yeah. And then the offense has just been like kind of almost stagnant a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping he provides that spark to the offense and build up a little confidence for the guys and walk out with a dub, throw up 42 points on the Broncos.
That would be something. So for me, the X factor that I went with was to force Russell Wilson to speed up Russell Wilson, basically. And one thing that I noticed when I was looking up Russell Wilson's stats is that his QBR has went down every single week since week 1. He's gotten progressively worse every single week. That Broncos team looks progressively worse every single week. He had a 9.8 QBR last week versus the Chiefs.
Oof.
That is not good, by the way. That is borderline horrendous. That is really fucking bad. So speed up Russell Wilson, force him into passing situations. Not that Russ can't get it done because he has before. He's done it against us. But we got to force him into some bad situations. Sean Payton's not the same coach. This is not the same Russell Wilson from 2015, 2016. So, let's force him to beat us. So now we're going to give our keys to the game. What is your key to the game?
Move the ball. I've said this like 3 weeks in a row now. Like, how are we not like, we just need to get a fast start in and force them to throw the ball, like you said. And Russell Wilson's been like a little slow to process everything this year. It seems like, just watching him, you can tell like going through his progressions have been kind of slow. So if the secondary can hold up enough, and Rashawn Gary can get in there and just wreck him a couple times, give him a little happy feet. I think that's the key to the game. Just wreck that offensive line.
I agree. So I'm going to give Tyler's. Tyler said, "Don't beat yourself. Denver is beatable easily if Green Bay doesn't beat themselves." I mean, I agree with that. Denver is not a good football team. So if you stay away from the unforced errors or the hidden yardage, as some people talk about with the penalty yards, I mean, this should be a win for Green Bay. So for
speaking of penalties, what game was I watching? Oh, the Monday night game versus Dallas versus the Chargers. That game was unwatchable, dude. There was like 35 penalties or some shit. Maybe it wasn't that much, but there was definitely in the 20s. It was like every play had a fucking flag.
I needed I think it was 11.5 points from Herbert. So I basically watched the football game till he got me 11.5 points, and then I went to bed. Not gonna lie to you. Okay.
It was actually outside the penalties. It was a solid game.
Herbert didn't look like Herbert, with the finger and stuff like that. He didn't look the same. He usually has a little bit more zip on the ball, but I'm not going to say what I actually said, but I was not in the mood to listen to Troy Aikman talk about the Cowboys all night.
That's fair.
That's what I'm just gonna leave it at that. I said something very inappropriate. But
there was 20 accepted penalties.
What?
20. It was gross, dude. Every other play was like a flag. It was so annoying to watch. I think I was talking to Bryant during the game. I was just like, dude, fuck this game.
My God. Ew. That's horrible.
Yeah, that was gross.
So I'm going to go to my key. My key is start fast. And I love that you brought that up because I have a stat that goes with it. I wrote start fast, would love if we can get in the end zone in the first possession. That would be amazing. The Packers have 3 straight games of first halves, just the first halves, where they have had 3 points or fewer. 3 straight. They have, yes, it's good. The Packers haven't been held to 3 points or fewer in 4 straight first halves since December of 1990. Ew. Let's not repeat that history, please.
Speaking of another 0-4 stat, the Broncos have not been 0-4 at the home stadium ever.
What?
Yeah, they've never started 0-4. Excuse me, I'll phrase it like that. They've never started 0-4 at Mile High or whatever they call it now, Allegiant Stadium or crap that no one calls it.
It's still Mile High.
It's still Mile High. Yeah.
Huh. That is interesting, and I wish I would have known that before I did my scores. But
no, it's fine. It'll buff.
But that's fine. So before we get to my weather report, I'm going to throw out something. This is the first game that the Packers are favored in this entire season. They are one of 5 teams who were not favored in the first 6 weeks of the season. The Packers, obviously. The Colts, the Cardinals, the Jets, and the Panthers are the other 4. So that right there is impressive to me as well, that we have not been favored this season. But, like me and you were talking earlier, it makes sense, right? So I'm going to get to my weather report now. Time for the weather report. David Limson says, our Denver record is not pretty. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I remember, God, was this the last time we were in Denver? It might have been when they were Super Bowl.
It was 8 years ago.
When Rodgers had 77 yards. Remember that?
Yeah, that was a terrible game to watch.
I stayed up late for that game for no reason.
That was an awful game. I got to look that up now.
Yeah, their defense absolutely swallowed us whole. That was horrible.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
So, the weather report, the weather is going to be beautiful, by the way. Weather report is looking for 78 degrees, mostly sunny, winds east-southeast at 6 miles per hour.
I think that's a solid day for some football.
That play right there that David's talking about, you said we won on that walk-off TD, that was Favre? No, that was before the last time we were there. The last time we were there,
it was 2015.
Yeah, that was well, they won the Super Bowl that year, I think. That was the year where Rodgers had 77 yards.
Yeah, that was the game both teams went in 6-0.
Yeah.
And Rodgers went 14 for 22, 77 yards.
I'll never forget that.
That was a gross game, dude.
That touchdown, though, to Greg Jennings. Oh, that was our only win there?
Yeah, I believe that.
Our only win there was that walk-off? Bro. That's one of my favorite plays. I watch that one on replay all the time.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably in my Mount Rushmore of like favorite like calls.
I gotta look that up.
Unbelievable, dude! That was awesome. Mike Tirico goat on that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So now we're gonna go to some score predictions. So I'm gonna start with Simon and Bryant and Tyler's. So
gross, dude. That's a true statement. That was the only win we've ever had at Denver. Was that 1913 victory in 07?
That is ridiculous. 07. We haven't won in Denver since 2007. Now, granted, we don't go there very often, but still, that is ridiculous. Wow. What is our overall record there? How many wins? How many losses?
Against Denver?
Yeah,
it's 7-7, and they've tied once.
Oh wow!
Because I don't think they've.
I didn't think it was that close.
They tied at Green Bay. They've never won in Green Bay.
Wow. No. I'm not doubting you. I'm not doubting you, David.
No. You're good. You're good. I'd look too.
That is amazing.
But the Packers have outscored Denver 335 to 287.
And you know what? We should have never lost a fucking Super Bowl to them either.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Fucking, oh God.
Wow. So we're going to get into some score predictions. So I'm going to start with Tyler. I'll do Bryant. I'll let Simon go, and then I'll say mine. So Tyler from the head, he has 26-19 Green Bay. Bryant has 2018 Green Bay. 18 would be a awkward score to get. So Simon, what do you have for your score from the head?
Damn, I feel like I overstretched my bounds a little bit. I don't know. I feel good about this game. It sucks because I picked the Packers to win every game this year. Even the Lions game, I thought maybe we could steal one away at home. All right, so this maybe I overstepped my bound a little bit, but 27-16 Packers. I think this is a get right game. I feel good about getting some of the guys back. It sounded like the only one that's that's for sure not going to go is Campbell. All right, he's listed as doubtful, but
I don't know what's going on with that, man.
He has a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, those are tough to judge, man.
So hopefully next week, but everyone else is listed as questionable. We'll see. But I don't know. I feel good about this game. I feel good about going. The Broncos are probably the worst team in the league. If we lose to them, I can't fathom us losing to them. Even on the road, I feel good about going against them.
I agree.
So 27-16. That was a 2-touchdown win.
Yeah, so I mean, you're not doing that bad because David has 27-13 Green Bay. So that's
let's go, Dave.
I have 26-24.
Okay.
Game-winning field goal. You were talking about a field goal miss. I have a game-winning field goal.
Right. So if that happens, we're also it's gonna be a fucking 60-yarder. Let's call it mile high. He just boots for one for 60.
Yeah, that would.
He's got the leg. He's got the thin air up there. I love it.
I would shit my pants if he hit a game-winning 60-yarder, dude. That would be disgusting. So now we're gonna do our score predictions from the heart. These are usually, if everything is lined up perfectly, the Packers play like we envision them to, the Broncos suck like we've seen them suck, and everything just kind of works out in the Packers' favor. Tyler's from the heart is 30-17 Green Bay. That's not horrible. That's reasonable. And Bryant, by the way, I tallied up all the scores because we're doing a little contest this year.
Oh, are we?
Bryant is he goes really low scoring. He is very conservative on his scores. He has 27-17, and that's one of the crazier scores that he's put out this year is a 10-point win.
Really?
Yeah, he is very, very conservative.
I haven't been keeping
34-10. That is calling your shot right there.
I went 31-10.
31-10.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's pretty crazy because I also have 31-10 for my heart prediction. I just think that if everything goes right, we're dominating that offensive line. We're not allowing them to run the ball, which is really weird because actually the Broncos have a really, they're like top 5 in run block win rate for their offensive line. They're like number 4, I think, or number 3. So for them to not run the ball because they just don't stick to the run. Like Sean Payton is calling horrible games. Either way, we're going to shut them down. We're going to shut Russ down, and Jordan Love is going to go crazy. So now our next segment is we're going to do some Simon Says, and I got to check if Bryant has 2 of them. He does. So do you want offense or defense first? I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you at all. You can just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Hold on. We're having some technical difficulties here. Defense. Okay. So we'll go defense first. So his defense one is 2 Packer rookies record a sack this game. Thumbs up or thumbs down because we cannot hear you. Thumbs up. Okay. So let me check Tyler's. Sorry, I have to switch back and forth. This is a lot of messing around here. Tyler's defense is 3 interceptions. Yeah, thumbs down. Thumbs down. I agree. That one would be crazy, but these are bold predictions, as Tyler says. No. Okay. David said no to that one. So, David, do you think this one Packers defense records 5 sacks and gets 2 turnovers. Could be a fumble, could be an interception, anything.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
What happened, dude? All right, yeah, 1 interception. I don't know. Him tossing 3. It's a little much.
Yeah, that's a lot. So did you hear mine?
No, sorry.
Packers defense records 5 sacks and forces 2 turnovers.
I like it.
See, that one I was like,
I like that.
Kind of a lot, but
I don't hate it as like a bold prediction. Yeah, I kind of like it.
all right, bet. So I got a thumbs up for that one. That's pretty crazy. All right, so I will do Tyler's offense now. Tyler's offense is, he said, I'm feeling a Jaden Reed 2-touchdown game.
I'm gonna say probably not.
Okay,
but I don't hate it.
Who's gonna be the?
I don't love it.
Oh, he says David said yes to that one.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so I'll do Bryant's. I'll do mine.
You say who's gonna be the guy?
Yeah, who's gonna be the guy?
Oh, I was gonna save that for my bold prediction.
Oh, okay. I'll wait for that then. So his offensive one, which is 100% not happening, is Packers rush for 200 plus yards.
Not a chance.
Not even a little bit.
No. Our run blocking has been putrid this year.
Huge.
Like, you know, I wish I could. I want to go back and like look at these games and see how often our guys are just getting hit in the backfield. Or like I gotta find something that like quantifies it. But it's like, yeah, that's something I'll have to look into, and maybe I'll like post it on the Wisco fan or Wisco page or something. But it's something I'm gonna have to look into. It's been half the reason why it's been tough sledding for AJ Dillon, and people like to hate on it because it's like it's the easiest thing to do. Is like, dude, that dude's been hitting the backfield pretty often. I feel like.
I agree. His yards before contact cannot be high.
No, no, it's not. Like I said, I'll quantify that and I'll put it on the Wisco page or something because it's pretty gross.
All right. So I'm kind of going a little bit where David was going. We need to see a solid game from Love. But my bold prediction is Jordan Love, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers.
I like
that. I didn't say passing touchdowns. I said 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm with it. His legs look good this year. Like he's made some. Did you see that? I know it didn't count. That stiff arm on Max Crosby, dude. Bro, I was so hyped after that.
Bro, that was disgusting.
That was such a good play.
Nobody does that to Max Crosby.
You love to see it. You like to see like the effort made on plays like that when you know the game's on the game's still close and you see the effort play. Like I love seeing that shit, and to do it against one of the best in the league. Right. Oh man, especially as a quarterback. Oh man, he straight armed his face, dude. I was so pumped after that.
So you could definitely tell, and I 100% underrated Jordan Love's athletic ability. That is 100%. Yeah. I did not know he was that athletic.
I underrated it.
Bro, he is big, he is strong, he is fast.
Yeah.
And he just needs to get it up here, and he needs to keep the confidence high. That is something that can kill you.
His runs are smart too. It's not him taking off to just take off. Right. And like run for 100 and some yards a game or whatever. Right. He's making smart decisions by running the ball. And like, I don't feel like he's taking gigantic hits. Like he'll run out of bounds or like slide or here and there, or he'll take like a small hit, but like no one's fucking destroying him.
To be completely honest, he's giving out just as much punishment as he's taking this year.
Hell yeah.
So, I had one more question, and I saved this one for last. And I know we talked about him a lot, but I wanted to get your opinion. What would you do to get 33 going this game? After you're done dying.
Yeah, sorry, dying. To be honest, it just depends on how healthy they view him. Obviously, you don't want 33 to take too much punishment if he's still banged up. But if he feels good, roaring to go, then I mean, I love motioning him out, use him as a pseudo slot wide receiver, get him a couple dump off passes, let him run past Probably some middle linebacker that has no business being on him. But
Right.
get him some touches, man. Get him some early touches. Let him explode. And like that play versus the Bears where they did the fake right. Jordan Love rolls left, passes it back to 4 guys in front of Aaron Jones. Like
Yeah.
I love the early game like trickery, especially against the Falcons too. The flea flicker to Dontavian Wicks
Yep.
that ended up in a 54-yard. If he didn't, he would have caught that and been gone. But
Yep.
they made a smart play and drew pass interference. A smart play by the Falcons. Like they doing something like that. I love Matt LaFleur's creativity with some of the plays. So getting the ball in space, let him work a little bit. That was a long drawn out answer, but that's how I do it.
No, that's fine. I wanted you to give all your answers. So David in the comments said, quick slants in the pass game, off tackle, quick tosses, keep them out of the back and from the line. So I agree, and that's something that could definitely help A.J. Dillon, help this offensive line, is you can use his speed on the outside. You're doing 2 things with that. One, you're creating a mismatch with the defense. The defense now has to look this way and not just this way, right? They know that A.J. Dillon is coming straight at you. He's a north-south guy, right? And with Aaron Jones, you can go this way, but you can also go this way. You can go this way. He can start this way, and then you can come back this way, right? So if you're Matt LaFleur, you use them on the outsides. And 1, you're creating that mismatch with the defense. And 2, you're allowing Jones to kind of dictate, the hits that he takes. He doesn't take a lot of big hits, really. So you get him on the outside, let him use his speed, let him use his vision, and let him create on the outside. So I agree with off tackles and quick tosses 100%. I would love to get him in some screen plays. If you want to throw him in the slot, that would be amazing. Let him run some drags. He's going to run the right route. I'll tell you that right now. If you're worried about your wide receivers running the wrong route, Aaron Jones is going to run the right route. So let's just get him the ball any way possible. I said 25, and I personally, I kind of want to stand by that. But, you are right. 25 is a lot of touches over the course of a season. Let's go with 20. I'll sit at 20, but we need to get him the ball, get him going, and hopefully a Packers W, man, because, man, I've been itching. It's been a long time, dude. Been a long time since a Packers W, man. So with that being said, I think that's going to wrap up our show. Tyler will be back on Wednesday. So it'll be Tyler and myself. We actually have our Bucks primer this Wednesday, so let's go. Bucks basketball is back. I'm going to have to rewatch this preseason game. I've been watching all the preseason games and kind of seeing how Dame's been fitting in. I watched most of the first quarter, and Dame looked a lot more comfortable. I'll say that. We will be talking about the Badgers game versus Illinois and then previewing their game versus Ohio State. So that's a big one. Yep, basketball. Don't say it.
It was kind of weird seeing you guys because I try to stop in your guys' show on Wednesdays when I can. It was weird just seeing you guys talk about one thing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird for me, man, honestly. I mean, I know that we kind of do that on Friday nights.
Yeah.
But we have 2 different things that we do. Like we recap and we preview. So it still kind of feels like a full episode, So like when we have episodes like tonight where it's just a preview, it's like it's weird.
I feel like we filled the time pretty well, though.
Yeah, we did. I think we did a tremendous job. You did an awesome job, man.
No, it's all you, man. I'm just here. I'm chilling.
But we talk all the time. Tyler and I text constantly, and we were kind of talking like, man, it's nice to kind of get a breather from all the baseball. But then, we're gonna get right back at it, and we actually have Stephen Watson joining us on Wednesday, so that'll be exciting. Smooth show minus Tyler just saying LOL. Tyler is fantastic. He's really good at this hosting. I was kind of prepping myself all day, like, all right, make sure you're good with your transition, you're good with your timing. I was kind of talking myself through it today at work. I didn't even give a shit.
No, you killed it, dude.
No, Tyler is fantastic. I think that we should switch off. I think every other week I'll host and Tyler will host one week.
What if we just kick Tyler off the show? I think it's fine.
No, we can't do that.
Mutiny, dude. Let's do it. Let's form a union.
Let's form a union. No, Tyler and I, man, we've been talking about big men our whole damn lives. Do this show.
I just want him to fire me. I think it'll be funny.
Oh, I hope that when he listens back to this, he hears you say that, and the first thing that he says you're fired. Because I will die with it. But
yeah.
um,
I did miss one thing because I had a bold prediction. Going back, this is Luke Musgrave time. Let's get this dude a touchdown.
It's
He's
touchdown
0-4 this year.
Musgrave?
It is. Yeah, you know, I kind of projected out his stats because I was arguing with the dude. He said that Luke Musgrave was a wasted pick.
Yeah, I saw that. You know,
and he's looking at a halfway decent season, looking at almost 60 catches, 500 and some yards, and then the touchdowns are going to come. He might not have like 10, but I think he'll end up with a few at least for the rest of the year.
I mean,
it's touchdown time this week.
I really hope so, dude. I think that would be a tremendous thing for his confidence.
Yeah, hell yeah.
One to Musgrave, one to Reed, one Love rush touchdown.
Let's go. I like that.
I like that a lot, actually.
And no turnovers.
I can see that. I hope the first one is the Musgrave, though, because you have no idea. I really believe that once Musgrave scores, I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off this offense, because having a good tight end in today's NFL is such an underrated thing that people don't even think about. I mean, you're looking at the running backs. You're looking at, everybody talks about quarterbacks, talks about how fast this guy ran. The thing that really takes an offense from good to unstoppable is tight end. They could be such a mismatch. Tight ends can go against linebackers. They're too fast for the linebacker. They're too big for the safety. They're too physical for this guy. Tight end is just so big. And we've been missing one since Jermichael Finley, dude. I mean, Jared Cook was pretty good there, but
I wish I can't judge him still.
I can't judge tight ends because when you played with Aaron Rodgers, dude, he made people.
Yeah, that's true.
James Jones was a good player, right? Would James Jones be James Jones without Aaron Rodgers? I think he would tell you no. Right? I mean, what happened to Greg Jennings after he left Aaron Rodgers? The guy fell off the face of the earth. Let's just call it what it is, right? But I think that wraps it up. We're talking random now.
Yep, we are. That's what we do.
We're going to get out of here. I hope you all enjoy your nights. I hope everybody joins us on Wednesday for Stephen Watson and some Bucks basketball talk and some Badger football. Obviously, Mikey will be with Tyler and myself. So
when does Badgers basketball start?
Badgers basketball starts on November 1st. So actually, this Wednesday, this Wednesday is our Bucks primer. The following Wednesday is our Badgers basketball primer.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, I have all the notes done. We actually have our event coming up next weekend. So, I mean, we're about to get busy.
Hell yeah. I'll talk to you on Sunday for sure.
All right, man. Hey, you take care. Everybody else have a good night. David, nice talking to you, buddy.